On Monday, February 22nd. Will the treasurer please call the roll?
Mrs. Kissinger.
Here.
Fruman. Dr. Heiss. Mr. Hemmelgarn.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here. Dr. Heiss, I believe, is on the road on the way here, and Mr. Fruman, we knew, had another engagement he couldn't shake. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Exits are to your left and right, whether you're sitting in the audience or up here. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Need your second. Second.
Mrs. Kissinger.
Yes.
Mr. Hemmelgarn.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Let's see. Approval of the minutes of the budget hearing. Motion to approve those minutes. Okay,
So
all
moved.
three? Okay. That's the budget hearing and the Business Advisory Committee meeting and the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 25th.
I move that we approve the minutes for January 4th, January 14th, and January 25th.
A second. Discussion? Mr. Tepper?
Kissinger.
Yes.
Mr. Hemmelgarn.
Yes. Yes. Correspondence. Any correspondence from the superintendent? So treasurer received any correspondence for the board? Any members? Moving on, procedure for public commentary. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Individuals who'd like to share their opinions or comments concerning a topic on the board agenda should list the agenda or topic on a note card available at the entrance of the meeting room. Sign your name, include your address and telephone number, and to give the card to the secretary at the door. You'll be recognized by the board president during public commentary. Remarks should be addressed to the board as a group and be within the 5-minute time limit. If several people wish to speak on the same topic, the time limit will be adjusted to 3 minutes. Individuals may not mention specific students by name or discuss matters that affect specific students. Any response by the board will take place at a later date. Commendations and recognitions. Start out with our Duke Energy 2015 Power Partner Award, and is the superintendent leading this?
You're ready, sir.
Have I been promoted to superintendent? Good evening. I'm Michael Pahutsky with Duke Energy, and I lead our large account management team in the Ohio and Kentucky markets. And very proud to stand before you tonight and honor Forest Hill School District with Duke Energy's 2015 Power Partner Award. Forest Hills does such a great job educating our children. Both my children, Ellen and Bill, are products of the Forest Hill School District, from elementary school in Maddox all the way up through Nagel and up through Anderson High School. Very proud graduates. They got an excellent education here at Forest Hills, and one reason is because Forest Hills plows fully 72% of their operational budget into classroom instruction for the children. One of the ways that they're able to dedicate so much of their operational budget to classroom instruction is through the work of Ray Johnson and Bob Vonderwood, who have worked so hard to drive energy efficiency into the schools and all its buildings. Over the years, Ray and Bob and their teams have taken advantage of Duke Energy's Smart Saver energy efficiency incentives to help them make the school buildings more energy efficient and save money for the school district. But more important than that, Forest Hills has been a great partner with Duke Energy in the area of energy efficiency. For example, Ray participates in Duke Energy's K-12 Best Practice Working Group, where he's able to take what he's learned and applied here in Forest Hills, take that to other school districts and help them save energy as well. Ray also agreed to beta test for Duke Energy our new online application process, streamlining the application process so that more customers can take advantage of these energy efficiency incentives and drive energy efficiency into their businesses. One of the greatest things I think that Forest Hills has done is with the bond levy that was passed a couple years ago. I understand it's $100 million going into infrastructure in Forest Hills schools. In those RFPs, when Forest Hills is requesting proposals for work, they're asking their vendors to step up and tell them, how are you, vendor, going to put energy efficiency into your design? How are you going to apply Duke Energy incentives so we're assured to get even more energy efficiency and more work out of those same dollars? So that's just a fantastic example of the partnership that we have with Forest Hills Schools. Most recently, I think this is fascinating. As many of you know, Wilson Elementary School is basically being rebuilt. Forest Hills is the first customer we have in Ohio to participate in our Energy Design Assistance Program, where we come in and help design energy efficiency into a building from the ground up, so that Wilson Elementary School has many years, the new Wilson Elementary School had many years of efficient operations. Ray, I want to thank you, and Bob, I want to thank you for your partnership with Duke Energy, and just look forward to doing a lot more work with you in that regard. I'd like to introduce you now to our Senior Vice President of Customer Services, Gail Lanier, who will have some remarks to share as well.
Thank you, Michael. The Duke Energy Power Partner Award was created in 1992, and it was created to annually recognize customers that we've worked with who we've had great partnerships. These partnerships focus on areas of customer satisfaction, energy efficiency, growth, and sustainability projects. So let me tell you a little bit about this award and why it's so important to us. We have over 4,000 large assigned customers in the states in which Duke Energy operates. That's North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Florida. Of our 25 million overall customers, 4,000 of these are assigned customers that we monitor and have day-to-day relationships with. Since the inception of this program, 185 of these customers have been awarded the Power Partners Award. For 2015, our large account management team looked at many customers that they put forward for this award. Only 14 of those companies received this award. So this is a big deal for us because it really does talk about the collaboration, the partnership that's so vital for these companies to be able to meet their efficiency needs, as well as help us as a company achieve our goals of not having to build new power plants. So this is really important for us. We are pleased to announce that Forest Hills School District is a recipient for the 2015 awards. So why is this a big deal? Since 2008, since Forest Hills has been working with this project, they have been able to save over 4 million kilowatt hours of energy. What does that mean? We always talk in kilowatt hours. That's a 30% reduction in energy use. That's a $250,000 annualized savings. This is huge. That's equivalent to about 380 homes worth of energy, or taking 580 automobiles off of the road. So it's a big deal, and we wanted to personally come and thank you all tonight for this partnership, the continued partnerships, and the efforts that you've had. So it's my pleasure to be able to recognize Forest Hills High School District for this award. Michelle's going to help me hand out awards. Michael, you want to come as well?
The first award that we would like to present is to Ray Johnson. So Ray, if you could come up and join us.
Ray, thank you so much for your partnership, and congratulations on this award.
Thank you, Ray. It's a pleasure.
I just want to take a second. It's like the Academy Awards coming up, and I want to take that. I truly have to thank a few people here. First of all, back when we started this, I remember our account rep, Sandy Bradford, her name, and Bob Vanderwood and I sat down as we began to learn about this, and thought, this was a way for us to do something to where we were able to, we don't have a lot of control over some of our expenses, we needed to take advantage of this. And when Michelle called me back in November and told me that we were winning this award, I was kind of embarrassed because I thought, okay, we're being awarded for something that's just kind of the right thing to do. And I don't know that you always get awards for that, but it's very much appreciated. But from the beginning, we've been supported by our Board of Education. I think Julie and Randy were on the board back at that time. Forrest Father was on the board. Tracy Hubner and Rich Newman are on the board. I was fully supported by them. Dr. Patswald, Rick, all were very supportive. Couldn't have done this without Bob Vanderwood. He's been my partner in this all along. Tia, sometimes, we've talked about trying to do things in the kitchen, and we've done the same thing in that regard. And I have to thank not only Sandy, but there was Marvin Blade who followed her, Deanna Bowden, and Michelle Kolb, who's been our account rep. So I have to thank all of them for all this. So, thank you.
Next, we would like to present awards to Bob Vanderwood.
This makes getting up on that scaffold in those gyms at Anderson, Turpin, and all those elementaries well worth it. Yeah, this is really special. This goes back to changing light ballasts when it was Synergy and Cincinnati Gas on electric, changing to T8s from to magnetic ballast to electronics. And working with Ray has just been super special. And hopefully we can save the district even more energy, and maybe we can get it to 40% reduction. Thank you so much.
And the next award we have is for the school district. So it's a larger monument, and we would like to present that to the superintendent, Scott Prebles.
I didn't have to climb a single scaffold. On behalf of the District Board of Education, I would like to thank you for this award. As being the newest member of the team, we're always talking about partnerships and the important things that happen for students as a result of partnerships. And this is a great example of Duke Energy being a long-term partner with the district and providing us with collaboration, consultation, and assisting us in many, many ways to save dollars that otherwise would not be used for educational purposes. So back to your children that you talked about a few minutes ago, and we talked about how well they're doing in the world as adults. We would like to think that Duke is helping us contribute to that and helping us use the generosity that comes to us from our taxpayers in ways that are more influential in the classroom. So Michael, I'd like to thank you and thank the entire Duke organization and all the people associated, certainly Ray and Bob, and our Board of Education for being those behind the scenes or around the scenes to ensure that we are, in fact, working towards these types of goals, partnerships, and opportunities to utilize resources for our school district for the classroom. So I'd like to thank everyone involved, and again, thank you all for coming out this evening, and we do look forward to continued work in the future. Thank you very much. Time, we're going to do group photo. Absolutely.
time for the break.
Before our guests leave, I also want to say thank you very much for this recognition. Appreciate you taking the time to come, especially all the way from Raleigh, to be here with us. And I really think it's great for two special reasons. Some of the people that were recognized, especially Ray, somebody who rarely gets the thanks that he deserves. And I'm really glad to see that Ray and Bob have been recognized because they do this all the time. It's in their DNA. Talk about doing the right thing. They're constantly doing that. And second thing is, I'm glad that our community gets to hear what's going on in the Forest Hill School District. I guess it's at this point millions of dollars that have been saved from some of these energy saving tactics that have been put in place. So again, thank you, because like I said, I'm glad that our community gets to hear about the good things that are going on in the Forest Hill School District. So thank you once again. Moving on in our agenda, public commentary. None, okay. Item number 7, district updates from the superintendent.
Thank you. We're going to start with Natasha Adams, and we're going to talk about the state report.
Last month, we gave an update on a portion of our state report card because that's all the data that had been released to us. So I just want to kind of bring you up to speed. If you'll recall, about a year ago at this time, we were knee-deep in brand new assessments across the district, online assessments that measure that our new results with standards, with the new Ohio Learning Standards. And we had to get used to a whole new system. There was assessments both in February as well as at the end of the year. And it's very typical that we get those results normally in June and August, and we're speaking to you about those. But at this year, we're not getting the results until now, and the final report card won't be released even until Thursday. So it was our hope to have to speak more specifically about the results today, but we just didn't get it in time to give it to you. So just want to give you a heads up that will be released to the public on Thursday of this week. And like many districts across the school district, we're going to see some scores that we're used to seeing, then we're going to see some results that we're not so used to seeing in Forest Hills. And so we don't want to overreact or underreact to these. We want to definitely take a look at the data and continue to think about our instructional delivery model, how we're intervening, how we're enriching our students' experience, and build our next action steps into our strategic plan that we'll be working with the superintendent on. And the hope really is to continue as these assessments change over the years, that we will recalibrate and adjust and be on a positive trajectory for our district. And so we just wanted to keep you updated, and you'll receive more of that information later this week.
Thank you. Any questions from anybody? Thank you. The fact that the ODE is in disarray, I don't think is a surprise to anybody. So anyway, let's see. Moving on, facilities.
Before Ray comes up, we have a special announcement. There's an award of achievement as the master board member that occurred this past week. And the Ohio School Boards Association annually recognizes board members for their commitment to learning and leadership with the Award of Achievement program. OSBA's annual Award of Achievement program recognizes Ohio Public School Board members who work hard to become better board members. They earn credits toward the award by enrolling and participating in workshops and conferences, volunteering for service to their association, and working on behalf of their own Board of Education. The Award of Achievement is a special honor and distinction available only to Ohio School Board members. And this year, the Ohio School Boards Association Award of Achievement has been given to, or awarded to, Randy Smith. And I would like for all of you to know that this is the 12th award of this type that's been provided to Mr. Smith, who is also a Master Board member. The Master Board Member Award is a lifetime board award distinction. It's given to those leaders who earn 300 awarded achievement credits over a 4-year period of time. And so he is also a Master Board member. He's also an Anderson High School graduate, for those of you who didn't know that. And Randy will receive the award at the Ohio School Boards Association Southwestern Region Spring Conference, which happens on March 8th. For me, in my first few months on the job, I believe that everyone in this room who works with Randy, knows Randy, has an opportunity to participate in committee work with him, will say that he is a genuine individual who has the best interest of the students in mind at all times, with all decisions, in all of his actions, and all of the things that he does. So for me as a new superintendent, I find that to be extremely encouraging, it's exciting, and he models that, and the rest of the board also contributes in the same fashion. So it's a pleasure for me to be here this evening, representing the board in my work, and also to congratulate Randy Smith again for being receiving this award of achievement from the Ohio School Board Association. So we snuck that in on you. We didn't know it was coming, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now moving on to facilities update.
So Ray, we're ready.
I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time this evening, but just wanted to run through a couple of things that are kind of highlights for us. One, the first set of completed classrooms was turned over to team at Sherwood today. So I think they were all very excited, and Dave, I think, has got some photographs to show you of those classrooms when he comes up here, so it was a good day. Number two, the Wilson bid was supposed to open tomorrow. We decided to delay that because after we awarded Mercer, we had several contractors who weren't the low bidder at Mercer that wanted the opportunity there, wanted an opportunity to work on their numbers. So we extended that bid opening. We'll be bringing that back to you at the March board meeting as was originally intended. So there's no really delay in that. You'll notice that the HVAC controls that we bid and opened, we're going to rebid that. We found several discrepancies in some of the paperwork and decided, we're allowed to, by law, reject all the bids. We did that, we've rebid that, and we'll be bringing that back to you at the March board meeting as well. The Nagel Wireless, we opened the bid, got some great bids back on that, but the day before we opened up the bids, Christine and I had a conversation with our E-rate specialist and found there was a component of that, which is the switches that are a value of about $120,000 that we have posted that on E-rate, and we will probably get back about 40% of that cost through the E-rate funding. So we've opened the bids, but we're going to wait until the March board meeting to bring those. So there'll be $40,000 worth of reimbursement coming back to the school district. And the other thing I want to mention is kind of, on the coattails of the Duke. Several months ago, we brought to you the going out for a district, doing all the district lighting in one bid package. We've installed our first set of that lighting in 4 classrooms over there in Sherwood at a cost of it's about $4,100 for each of those pods. I'm submitting applications tomorrow that we'll get half of that back on the Duke incentives. So that'll bring our total up to about $29,000. And I think Brad's got the reference here. We got some good news back from this Energy Design Assistance Program today that Michelle referenced. That's going to create a larger premium back to the school district as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Ray. The piece of information I do have is on the Energy Design Assistant portion, and it deals specifically with Wilson Elementary School. We met with Paul Ehrlich with Building Intelligence Group today via conference from St. Paul, Minnesota. Long story short, he has a draft which I've shared with Ray of the potential incentives and so forth for the design assistance. And we're looking at a range of $150,000 to $200,000 for Wilson Elementary School. Now with that, there's roughly $11,000 that you guys have co-funded that study with Duke. But still, looks like there's going to be a very significant incentive for that new facility. And just wanted to share that information with you. We're hopeful that within the next, there's about 4 pieces of information our firm needs to get to Paul so he can finalize this draft, and we should be able to get that to him this week, and hopefully we'll get the draft back early, or the final offer early next week. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
Good evening. I'm not going to say anything because I brought pictures tonight. You can just go ahead and let that roll. As Ray had mentioned, we've got some awards for this evening. Mercer and the abatement is going to be awarded. And so we've got just 3 really major projects yet to bid: Turpin, Anderson, and Maddox. Some smaller little things associated with that. At Ayer, you're seeing some pictures of some finished spaces. The classroom addition and the office are coming along nicely. And the first interior quad is within weeks of being delivered. At Nagel, the office entry is waiting for its glass, which should be here yet, even maybe this week, but certainly in the next couple weeks. The stage door is waiting for the door, and the flex rooms should start shortly. We're waiting for those doors to arrive as well. Sherwood, that's the office at Sherwood, and it's brick. It's about to get some windows, and it's really starting to take some shape as the office, and the classroom spaces as the brickwork is happening as well. These are the interior pictures of a finished quad. So the teachers moved in this morning, and I think they're beautiful. So I think there's still some fine detailed work to be done. Doors and windows yet to be installed, but they are usable, and we started on the next series of quads. And the last thing I put in there was Summit. In some of the interior classrooms we've cleared, and the demo work has started. And just kind of as a sake of interest, this is how we keep people separate. This next picture shows on the left-hand side, the contractor uses that side to access the project, and the students and staff access from the other side. So you can see that great pains are taken to keep the population separate and safe from one another. So that's it.
Anybody have questions or?
I wanted to add a comment. I was in Sherwood. Dan had talked to a teacher, and I also had an opportunity to talk to a teacher about some spaces that students and teachers will be using that are daily type functional spaces for them. There was a little bit of an issue with that. We went to the design team, went to Dave, went to their team, and within a week that was corrected, and then has been corrected in designs for upcoming buildings. So what I wanted to say here was I appreciate the flexibility and the willingness on site to be able to take our teachers' contributions to this and make sure that we can make those things happen for them in real time. So I appreciate that. And,
absolutely.
Things have been changed since then. So Ray, thank you also for spearheading that project, or at least that change.
Well, on behalf of our team, because it's just not, there's a whole lot of people that are working on this, so I will take that back to them, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
That's probably more important.
Yes.
Any other questions? I have the one. Are we still on time, and are we still on budget?
I should have started that way. Yes, we are still currently on budget, and we are on time. Individual projects may be altered just a bit, but overall, yes, we are on time for the entire program delivery.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 8, board discussion. I don't have any actual topic for us to discuss this evening unless a board member would like to bring something up. Hopefully not. I would like to point out that the board did meet in a work session on the nicest day of the year for about 2.5 hours, and went through a very robust discussion on what our priorities, the board priorities, are for the year. That's hard to compete with, by the way. But I also would like to a special shout out to our staff, the directors, Erica, for spending the better part of the best day of the year so far in a conference room with board members as we had some lively discussion about priorities for the year. But thank you very much. Yes.
Bring up one thing. I just wanted to let everyone know that Nagel did its presentation last week on keeping kids safe with technology. I'm not sure how many people were there, but there were several hundred, I think. I was in the third row, so I looked around, and it was so well received. There were Sam Smith of Cincinnati Bell, Robin Engel, who is one of the vice presidents at UC, and is also a district parent, and Dawn Keating, who is a Cincinnati police specialist and is also an Anderson parent, former Anderson parent. Her son is now a freshman at The Ohio State in engineering. Did the presentation. It was awesome. I learned a lot. I think it's the first time our district has ever addressed this issue in mass like that. Lots of good questions from the parents. It lasted about an hour and a half, so congratulations to me.
Anything else? Moving on, business operations, bid opening. Mr. Johnson?
The first item I have is an item that's not a part of the bond project. It's the auditorium renovations at Anderson High School. Bids were open and read on Friday, January 29th for the auditorium renovations at Anderson High School. Complete bid tabulation recommendation was shown in the attachment. This is to replace the original seating in Titus Auditorium. We're also creating a handicapped accessible entrance down the side hallway that will come into an area about halfway down through the auditorium, provide handicapped accessible seating for patrons, so they're no longer forced to sit all the way in the back or all the way down in the front. Superintendent recommends the board approve the resolution to award the contract to Graybach LLC. The low bidder is shown in the attachment.
We taking these as consent or individual? Consent, okay. Any questions or comments? Moving on.
The next one is a request to advertise for bid. These are bond-related projects. The administration requests permission to authorize a treasurer to advertise for bids for the following projects. The specifications are completed. The first is relocation of utility lines that serve both Anderson High School and Turpin High School campuses. The second is for mechanical and electrical work to be completed during the renovations at Titus Auditorium. I might just clarify that what we're talking about doing is at the same time we're doing the seat replacement. Since we're going to be putting a sprinkler system into the Titus Auditorium area, we thought it best to go ahead and put the piping and the sprinkler heads in place. Since they're going to be above the ceiling, they'll be connected as we do the larger project. The superintendent recommends the board approve the request to authorize the treasurer to advertise for bids for the stated projects.
Questions, comments? Moving on.
Bid opening for the renovations at Mercer Elementary. Again, bids were opened and read on Tuesday, February 2nd for the building-wide renovations and the addition at Mercer Elementary, which included but are not limited to classroom renovations, improved building-wide access, added classrooms, renovated office area, and a new security vestibule. Complete bid tabulation and recommendation are shown in the attachment. The superintendent recommends the board approve the resolution to award the contract to Mark Spalding Construction Company. Low bidder is shown in the attachment.
Questions? Moving on.
I would want to also say here that with the bids coming in as low as they were, we're able to take all the alternate bids, which means we're also going to be doing, as a part of this, redoing the gym floor, redoing the floor in on the stage, as well as putting in new seating in the Kiva area as part of this project. And we plan on starting work there as soon as the current school year is complete. Next one is the bid opening for the district-wide HVAC controls. As I said earlier, when we opened up the bids there, we found that there were some discrepancies in the paperwork, not in the pricing. We interviewed people, we felt comfortable with the pricing, but we just could not accept the paperwork. We're very specific on how it has to be filled out. So the bids were opened and read on February 2nd for the district-wide controls. With the deficiencies, as I referenced, the Ohio Revised Code and our bid specifications allow the district to reject all bids, which we're doing. Therefore, the attached resolution rejects the bids and allows the district to rebid the project. Superintendent recommends the board adopt the attached resolution.
Questions or comments? Moving on.
It'll advertise tomorrow. We'll bring it back to the March board meeting. Change order for Air Elementary School. The motion is to approve the change order submitted by Endeavor Construction in the amount of $4,420 even. as presented. The change orders result of a change of scope of work there, which really evolves a lot around having to add some a new corridor and emergency lighting, some electrical service and outlets, and changes to the electrical panel board. Superintendent recommends the board approve the change order submitted by Endeavor Construction in the amount of $4,420.
Move on.
Okay. Next one is, again, a change order for Air Elementary. Again, it's Endeavor Construction. The motion is to approve the change order submitted by Endeavor in the amount of $13,583. This change order is for the cost of added exit signs, exterior lighting, and fire alarm pull stations. It's also including some engineering changes we made in the security vestibule. The superintendent recommends the board approve the change order submitted by Endeavor Construction in the amount of $13,583.
Moving on.
The next one is the district-wide asbestos abatement project. We put out a contract or a bid package to do all the asbestos abatement in the school district and accomplish it all this summer. So we're going to start, and we've worked out a plan with each building. We're going to get it done in each of the buildings, which will include Anderson and Turpin High Schools, Maddox, Mercer, and Summit Elementary Schools. The superintendent recommends the board approve the resolution to award the contract to Central Insulation Systems. Low bidder is shown in the attachment.
Questions? Moving on.
I might also want to add very quickly that in every case where we have a bid project, our design team sits and interviews the low bidder and the second low bidder, and sometimes even the third low bidder, to make sure that the numbers are good. They're going to be able to stand by their commitment to the time specifications we've laid out. Last month, I brought 2 easements for Anderson High School, dealing with the medical office, or the medical office building that's going in next to Anderson High School. 2 days after I brought those, I got a call that there were errors made in that. They went and said, "Can we just correct these and then file them?" I said, "Absolutely not. They've got to be brought back to the board." So that's what's being brought back. In the attachment is a red line copy, so you can see the specific changes. Some of them are dealing just with dates, nothing substantial. The information that Mr. Fruman wanted included is included in these documents as it was the last time. So the first is the utility easement. Superintendent recommends the board approve the granting of the easement as shown in the attachment.
Questions or comments? I'm assuming these have been all the way through.
Yeah. And last of all is the grading easement at Anderson High School. Same story here. The superintendent recommends the board approve the granting of the easement as shown in the attachment.
Questions? Thank you. Moving on, curriculum. Mrs. Adams.
Item 10.1 are the books that we brought to you last month. They've been on review in our office since January the 25th, and the superintendent recommends that the board approve the following list for the math for grade 8 through 12. And that includes Algebra and Trigonometry, Integrated Math 1, Integrated Math 2 and 3, and Brief Calculus and its applications. Item 10.2 are the post-secondary course changes, or proposed secondary course changes for the descriptions for the 2016 school year. Again, these changes have been on display in our office since last month. So the superintendent recommends that the board approve the proposed secondary course description changes. Item 10.3 are more resources that we've had on display in our office. I won't read all of them. They're all from the music team for the 2016-17 adoption. The superintendent recommends that you approve these new music course materials. Up next on display, starting now in our office, will be the new textbook adoptions for 7th and 8th grade math. We have the Big Ideas Math, the Bridge to Success Course 2 and Course 3. We'll have those on display until March 28th. And finally, we'll ask for that formal approval at the next board meeting. And we have summer school dates and fees posted here. And we'd like you to approve the dates for elementary, middle, and high school classes that we'll offer this summer. A change for you to note is that all of summer school in elementary and secondary will be housed at Nagle Middle School this year because of construction.
Natasha, before you leave, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you have any anticipation of how many students will take the Mandarin 3 class? I mean, I assume it's going to be a small group, a relatively small group?
We did some anticipated numbers just based on the enrollment of Mandarin 2. I don't know if Megan might be able to pull those up.
Well, I guess my question is, we've had some small classes in the district in the past at each of the high schools. Are we, this is, you don't have to give a long answer tonight, just if it's in our minds, that would be great. Are we thinking about maybe combining for some of the smaller classes, the 2 schools in the future for classes? Like I know that happened with the, I think AP Art History class last year.
Yeah, it was going to.
Small groups in each of the schools, and it made sense to combine them into one location to take them.
We've had some conversation about that this year. We haven't officially gotten together because the course requests have not been made at the high schools yet. But that'll be part of our process, is really looking where we can streamline and be efficient to the best of our abilities and see how we work those things out. Last time it was going to be done virtually, and there ended up being some complications and then a problem solved. So we still got lots of logistics to work out, but it is part of our thinking.
Great, thank you.
Do you have a number, Megan?
Oh, great. That's even more than I thought.
Any other questions? Okay.
10, 1, 2, 3, and 5 are action items, all part of the agenda. Moving on, Human Resources, Mrs. Carnahan.
Good evening. Item 11.1. A, resignation of Administrator Elizabeth Del Campo Hartman, our Assistant Principal at Nagel Middle School, effective June 3rd. Lizzie is going with her family to California, and so we'll certainly miss her. Item B, resignations. These are coaches. Item C, a change of assignment. One of our cooks from 3.5 hours to 3.0 hours at Nagel. Item D just covers E, F, G, and H, which are specific personnel. E, appointments. This classified staff, Pamela Williams, has completed her probationary period and is now, you are going to be giving her a 1-year contract, a 1-year limited. At the bottom of page 1, these folks are going to be getting their probationary contract, and you see their names at the top of page 2. Moving on, we have a Harrison Sand, who will be a lifeguard at Turpin. Bus monitor, Lisa Yager. We also see 4 athletics or events workers. Item F, some special services appointments, district nurse and health aide meetings, 24/7 tutors. Moving on to the next page, we see our high school drama production, some assistance there. Our PD Day, February 12th, and this was really a very big success. Lots of great planning with our curriculum team, our technology, our student services team, doing a lot of planning of that event together, as well as our other administrators. The stage crew at Anderson, and Kathy Polifka at Work Beyond Contract. Item G, these are coaches. You'll see at the bottom of page 3 and the top of page 4. Item H, substitute personnel. And item I, which is a memorandum of understanding with our Forest Hills Teachers Association, and this is in regard to the Ohio Teacher Evaluation System. As always, I know we have several teachers in the audience tonight. I would just like to thank them for their collaboration and continued partnership with the district and the Board of Education. Since the board meeting, last board meeting, the staffing has decreased by 0.16, which is as a result of bus route changes, and we're now at 791.06. The superintendent recommends the board approve the HR report as presented.
Questions on the HR report? So FTE, we're up a little over 2 for the year at this point, correct? At 7, yeah.
Hold on, just give me 1 second here, I've got it.
Approximately, yeah.
So, yes, just a little over, yeah, a little over 2.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much. You mentioned our drama folks. Both Anderson and Turpin delivered some outstanding drama performances with some very challenging material over the weekend, so thanks to that group.
Very powerful.
Yep. Moving on, item 12, student services.
As much as I love to share field trip opportunities that come about for our students, I'm very excited to share this item 12.1, which commends Wilson Elementary School. And I'm going to ask if the Wilson team could come up and just stand. I want to also give a brief introduction before I honor this team. This is about PBIS. This is one example of the positive attention that has been received at the state level for buildings who have implemented positive behavior intervention supports, or PBIS. PBIS follows the same principles as what we are implementing district-wide around response to intervention in the academic focus. PBIS is the behavioral portion of the model. Similar to what we are doing with assessing students for academic challenges and targeting their skill deficits through tiered interventions, we are also systematically addressing students by reviewing building data, identifying problematic behaviors as a whole, and designing building-wide expectations and instruction to support a positive culture and environment. The framework is built upon 3 tiers of intervention, just like we've shared with you in the past around response to intervention in the academic pieces. And it addresses the building as a whole, Tier 1, in small groups, Tier 2, and for individual students, Tier 3. Mr. Buck will share how Wilson Elementary has implemented PBIS building-wide to support the Wilson Way. Before he does, I also wanted to share that Forest Hills has worked with a regional support team, our SST-13, to train our building teams, provide resources and consultation, and conduct train-the-trainer sessions. Currently, all 9 of our buildings are participating in some level of the implementation around PBIS. So, on December 1st, 2015, Wilson Elementary School was honored with the Silver Award at the Ohio Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports Showcase for their successful implementation of PBIS. Recipient award winners demonstrated extraordinary leadership of implementation efforts, creative problem solving, and innovation strategies. And so we are recommending you commend Wilson Elementary for their achievement and completion.
All right, with us tonight, from my left to the right, we have Jamie Fulmer, 4th grade, Jean Bodie, counselor, Brian Profit, intervention specialist, Tricia Hauserman, 6th grade, Chris Frankus, 3rd grade, and Denise Weber, school psychologist. This crew really did the grunt work for the application and really let Wilson shine through this award. I know it was lots of hours, and it was nice for me because I was the bystander just looking on. But this team meets about once a month. They talk about different topics from the Tier 1, the Tier 2, and the Tier 3, and really focusing in on our kids. One highlight from the PBIS at Wilson, it's the Wilson Way. So we take care of ourselves, we take care of others, and we take care of our wonderful Wilson School. On announcements every day, that is read at the end of the video announcements. So it's kind of in the brains of our kids. Today, Jean shared a story with me. We are all in our asset teams, and there's 40 asset teams that meet monthly. And one of the kids, they're talking about a positive school environment. And they talked about the Wilson Way and what that means to them. And the one gentleman said that it's more than a thing that we do, it's how we feel as kids in our building. And I said that means a lot to us in our team because the kids really feel that. And lots of good data around it. So it's really the team, and I just represent. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. This is once again an example of something where we're very, very proud of the work that our folks do, our family does here in the Forest Hills School District. So, thank you.
If we had more time, I'd have all the remaining 8 buildings share. I'm sure they'd be thrilled. Items 12.2 and items 12.3 are 2 overnight field trips. 12.2, Anderson and Turpin, Future Business Leaders of America, are going to Columbus, Ohio on March 7th and 8th. We have 58 students going and 5 chaperones. 39 students will be staying overnight, so this item is really specific to those 39 students who are staying overnight to attend the remaining competition events. The cost is $125, and they'll be utilizing district transportation. 12.3 is our Turpin High School Drama Club. They will be traveling to Dublin, Ohio, March 11th through the 13th. There will be only 15 students attending and 3 chaperones. The cost for those students is $150. They will be using district transportation for that trip as well. And all costs and fees will be covered through fundraiser events if the students cannot fulfill those funds.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you very much. Moving on to the Treasurer's Report.
Starting with item A, our donations for January 16. We have significant ones every month, but we have more significant than normal in our Forest Hills basketball, Turpin High School athletic boosters, and the after prom donations are starting to come in, so we really appreciate our partnerships there, and you'll see those throughout the spring. In item B, we have our statement of board accounts. All of our accounts are in good condition. We are waiting for funding that has been requested for 5 federals that are listed. Item C, we have a summary of our general fund receipts. 56.23% of our projections have been received. That is in line with where we should be 8 months in to the fiscal year. Item D and E are our expenditures for year to date. Again, in line with where we've been. Just a little bit higher for your average of spending, but still in line with where we expect to be this time of year. Item F, our monthly bank reconciliations. In G, one thing was added in G, we have our normal list of our investments, but we also put a year-to-date, calendar year-to-date of our interest earnings for the general fund. So you kind of get to see what was projected. Obviously that money was able to help our capital projects. Item H is requesting amendments to the appropriations. We have 2 funds, 200, 300 fund requesting overall increases of a little over $47,000. And item I, we're requesting approval of board service fund expenses. We're asking the board to approve items 9.1 through 13.1 as presented.
We have a motion.
I move that we approve items 9.1 through 13.1.
Second. Before we call the roll, any questions about the Treasurer's Report? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bissinger?
Yes.
Mr. Hemmelgarn?
Yes.
Dr. Height?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes. Moving on, item 14.1, Business Advisory Committee Report.
No meeting since the last board meeting. We have our next meeting scheduled for March 10th at 7 p.m. At the board office.
Thank you. Moving on, Forest Hills Foundation Report. Mrs. Bissinger.
Sure. The Forest Hills Foundation met on February the 10th, 2016, and bear with me as I read my notes. The alumni engagement team is now being headed by Jenny Gavin. She's just taken on that role. She is currently reaching out to parents and graduates. I think this was Scott Preble's idea. Graduates will now sign up to be alumni at the graduation rehearsal, so they're kind of a captive audience there. The communication team, we will have signs in the schools eventually about what the Foundation for Education does. Teacher grants will be the next year process. The applications will be the end of April 16, and selections will be in June of 16. Community outreach team, Forest Hills 5K update. Registration opened on February the 15th, and the race is May the 14th. Program initiative team, Destination Imagination appraisers are needed. Training is February the 27th at Marymount High School. It's 4 hours. And the actual event is March the 19th at Three Rivers. And I have to say, as a child from many, many years ago that participated in Destination Imagination, it's an amazing exercise. What the kids come up with and the teams come up with is awesome. And if anybody's interested, please get a hold of Dee Stone if you would like to be an appraiser. The next meeting for the Forest Hills Foundation is Wednesday, March the 9th.
Thank you. Rick, and the Business Advisory Committee, what time does that start?
Legislative Liaison Report, news from Columbus, 3 bills to report on. House Education Committee heard sponsored testimony on House Bill 445, legislation that would make changes to the College Credit Plus program and specify that students participating in the program shall not be denied the opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities. The committee also heard proponent testimony on House Bill 401, sponsored by Representative Brinkman. This bill addresses requirements for chartered non-public schools. Just a comment, the inquiry this morning made it sound like it was just applying to private schools, and the actual language is chartered non-public schools. In my opinion, it ought to be any school that accepts public or state funding, or federal for that matter, but for primarily state funding. But that bill has a long way to go. The final bill before the committee was House Bill 410, which addresses truancy. The committee accepted a substitute version of the bill. The substitute version removes references to chronic truancy in the law and makes the new policies effective for the 17-18 school year. That's all I have to report out of Columbus. Let's see, next on our agenda is the Forest Hills Teachers Association report. Mrs. Lauber.
Good evening. First of all, I want to make sure I say congratulations to Ray and Bob. I think Bob left us. So, but congratulations on that. I know that there's been lots of work behind the scenes on that, and it was really exciting to see that as we move forward and lots of the endeavors that we're taking on as we're building. The association just would like to take the time to thank the board for its continued open partnership as we begin the second half of the school year. And tonight I just wanted to like to inform you and address about 4 areas of shared communication as we go on. The first one is, obviously, I heard the report on the Forest Hills Foundation, and for us that's a lot more than just that quick of a statement sometimes, because for what they do and what we're about, it's a lot. I know Dee's here tonight, and the association's been working. This is our second attempt at a campaign within the school district, and the teachers actually have been out collecting envelopes. Don't worry, Rick, none of them are on me personally. They've all been passed on. I know you're worrying about those kinds of things. So Dee will be making sure all those are in place. And this year we do have a payroll deduction opportunity that was basically passed back in the fall. So all your board members, I'm sorry you can't do payroll deduction, but I'm sure Dee has some many extra envelopes for you as we're trying to get 100% participation in that. And I want to make sure Megan's here tonight. Thank Megan Lawson and all the teachers that are helping out in this endeavor and our administrators as we're moving forward that. And again, Dee, thank you for all you do for us as teachers and educators here in the school district. The second one is this past week, so we had our FHTA delivered tonight an MOU for Mr. Smith dealing with our OTES. And again, another opportunity. I know Mrs. Carnahan mentioned a little bit about the process behind this. This is a really strong group of people. There's 10 of us in the district that have worked on this. Betsy's here with me tonight as well. We've been at this for about 5 years and done a really nice job. We performed about 9 meetings face-to-face with the staff prior, just so they knew what was coming. And we try to be very open about all these kinds of changes that the legislation also makes upon us that we're kind of reactionary to. So on February 12th, we did a 480 member vote, and were able to pass that rather quickly. I don't think anybody was too opposed to any of those kinds of decisions.
Third, this coming Wednesday, FEHJ will be attending OEA state meeting to address the legislative and charter schools. Just like you were mentioning, Mr. Smith, I think you and I have had conversations. For public school and the things that are happening at state level, often those kinds of things are opportunities for teachers to be involved in. And as the Forest Hills Teachers Association is one of the largest in Ohio, we're able to have a large voice with our legislative. And this coming Wednesday, I'll be going to Columbus myself and then attending several meetings, and have been asked to participate in an opportunity to communicate our needs from a public school standpoint and some of the reactionary parts that we have based on charter schools in relationship to our community. So that'll be this Wednesday that we'll be making sure that happens and voicing our opinions about that. I know here locally there are several school districts that are sending and being part of a coalition that are voicing their concerns about the funding within those areas. And lastly, I personally want to thank Mr. Peebles for his willingness in his first, 7 weeks. Are you counting yet?
Like 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days, that's what I thought. His willingness and how great job he's been with really communicating with us. And we're in some transitions and trying to make sure as a group that we're working together. And I have enjoyed his conversations. He's been very open and working with us, and we want to make sure we welcome him again in his 3 or 4 days that he's been on the job. And just our goal is to create an atmosphere of shared planning and solutions and vision of collaboration. I'm hoping that Mr. Peebles finds that our association is a little different than maybe what he might find up north, and we're very open about shared contributions and working together and solving and visionaries for our school district. So I'm going to say thank you.
Thank you. Next item is executive session. We will have a brief executive session, but before we take a motion on that, I simply want to mention that we do not expect to take action coming out of our executive session, and the next regular meeting of the Board of Education will take place March 28th in this room. This time we have a motion for executive session.
Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G1, I hereby move that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation of a public employee or official, and pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G2, I hereby move that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the purchase of property for public purposes or sale of property at competitive bidding, since disclosure of this time would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to persons whose personal private interests are versus the general public interest.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Mr. Teffer?
Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Bissinger?
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes. Yes. I want to thank everybody for attending this evening, and safe travel home. That's a record.